Hey guys, this is your boy Mufasa. As you already know, this show is nothing without you guys. So please don't forget to like the videos, subscribe to the channel, and let's continue growing. With that being said, the conference finals and the Eastern. Funny enough, both conferences are being led right now 2-0 respectively by the Pacers on the Eastern Conference and the Oklahoma City Thunder on the Western Conference, both leading by 2 games in these respective conferences. But the Pacers went and stole 2 games in Madison Square Garden, the so-called mecca of basketball, and the Thunder actually just went ahead and secured home court advantage and took care of business at home against the Timberwolves. We are going to start with the Western Conference, the Eastern Conference rather, side of the things, and the Pacers, like I was saying earlier, going in and still in 2 games at Madison Square Garden against the Knicks. This is a very interesting turn of events that I don't think anybody had in the bingo card. I think the Knicks were the favorites for this series, just like the Celtics were in the previous series. And this is too upset that the Pacers were able to have, just the way the Knicks earlier series in the second round were able to have with the Boston Celtics as well. And this team of Indiana just is the true definition of strength in numbers. This is a team that, even though there is a pecking order with, Tyrese Haliburton being the number one option and Pascal Siakam and Miles Turner being probably the number 2 and 3 option on that team, you don't know who might be having the hot hands at any given night. This is a team that relies on a collective effort. There's no superstar per se on that team. They all contribute and go deep. I want to really shout out Rick Carlisle for the amazing job that he has been doing with this Pacers team, and the Indiana Pacers front office also for trusting that roster, believing in continuity and not just blowing things off left and right. This is a team that was in the conference finals last year against the Celtics, and just against all odds again this year are came back to the conference finals again and have a very big chance to be in the NBA finals this season. I think Rick Carlisle, like I was saying, is a very underrated coach. Does not really get a lot of attention in the media, and is doing an amazing job. And we tend to forget that Rick Carlisle is a champion. He was the head coach of the Dallas Mavericks in 2011 when they go on this crazy run with Dirk Nowitzki and beat all these major teams in the Western Conference to end up winning the championship in 2011. So major props to Rick Carlisle and his guys. His Pacers team are really showing NBA teams that this idea of superstars and having 2 to 3 superstars is obsolete and is no longer productive. And this is also what the Oklahoma City Thunder are showing to this NBA world. And with this, NBA being a copycat league, I would not be surprised if a lot of front offices tend to just start building the teams following that route. I think they have been really outplaying the Knicks, especially by relying on the bench, going deep with guys like TJ McConnell, Obi Toppin coming off the bench, giving some production. Ben Shepherd also coming off the bench, giving them production. Thomas Bryant in little spurts, being able to assist and give up some production out there as well. They go deep, 9 to 10 players a game, And this has been a team that, just like the name, play with amazing pace, which is really disturbing the the flow of the Knicks offense, and the Knicks, unfortunately, being not being a deep team, is really being outplayed on that end. And now you start to actually notice the toll of those heavy minutes that the Knicks players have been having from the beginning of the season to up until these playoffs. They had a 7 game series against the Detroit Pistons, a shorter series against the Celtics, but a physical series as well. And now with this rotation on the Knicks end being about barely 6, 7 deep, sometimes 8, you start to see that strength in number is really dominating in this instance. This is a Knicks team that in the first game had it all on the platter and we're just supposed to win that game, but go on an incredible choke job to end up losing the game with, I think, them leading by 9 points with 50 something seconds left in the game. This is absolutely insane. This is a great choke job by the Knicks. I'm not mad against it. I'm not mad about it, especially with everything that I've seen online and these fools in New York throwing a garbage can on a firefighter who was wearing a Pacers jersey. I do not like Knicks fans. I'm a Sixers fan, so that is just something that is just normal. And I think the Knicks are basically the Cowboys of basketball. They think they the best thing invented since sliced bread, but they're not, and they always get so hype about their teams to end up losing. I know my teams are my basketball team is not necessarily better right now, but it's just a bunch of cocky people for the most part, and I'm not mad at all that they in this situation. But back to the game, I think what the Pacers are showing here is really great, and Tyrese Haliburton has been leading this team, proving again that he's not an underrated player. Pascal Siakam has shown up on this game too with, I think, 30 something point, 39 points, and he's a player that could be very very inconsistent in terms of production, but can really go on a hot streak also. And his championship pedigree, along with Rick Carlisle, is definitely showing up in this series. And guys like Aaron Nesmith, Miles Turner, Andrew Nembhard also playing well and contributing is really impacting the outcome of this series. The Knicks, on the other end, are really in a tough situation. Losing the first 2 games at home, you have to win Game 3. If you don't win that Game 3, it's over. And the very interesting aspect of this series right now is you have the Knicks' best players that are actually playing well. Jalen Brunson is almost averaging 40 points a game, and they still lost both games. And just like in the Boston Celtics series, this might now be a tall task to climb and come back in this series, because even if the Pacers give up 1 game, if they do win one of the 2 games that are going to be played in Indiana right now, this series is basically up 3-1 and for the most part over, because you have your top players in Jalen Brunson and Karl Anthony Towns playing pretty good basketball, and you still find a way to lose these games. And unfortunately, when things like that start happening, it's a mental toll. It takes a mental toll on this team, and now the game becomes way more mental than physical. As a matter of fact, it's really a tough predicament that the Knicks are in, and it's gonna take a tremendous job for them to be able to come back in this series and take it all. I think what's his name? drawing a blank right now with the Knicks. Tom Thibodeau, in this game two actually tonight, was even at some point because of foul trouble, but also because Mitchell Robinson was giving him some a defensive presence that Karl Anthony Towns wasn't given. Had to basically bench him for most of the fourth quarter, and the outcome was about the same. I think this is a team that is definitely mentally down right now, and like I was saying, it's gonna take a strong mental effort for them to be able to come back here and win this series. So kudos to the Pacers again for them being able to come out there in New York and win these two games. And I'm excited to see what the other two games are have in store for us. But I'm definitely, obviously, putting an advantage on the Pacers, and I think they probably close this series in 5 or 6 games. I don't think it's going to be a sweep. I think the Knicks probably go ahead and steal one game and extend the series to a five games or possibly 6 games, depending on how it goes. If you're the Pacers, though, you don't want to mess around and give them 2 games at home as well, because this is what's that gonna do is basically have a whole momentum shift again, and you don't want to put yourself in that predicament. I think the Pacers learned that also from the previous series that they had against the Cavs, and I just think physically, with those amount of minutes being played and the Pacers being such a deep team, I think they end up going ahead and taking on this series and winning it.